Let's see some magic.
It was sort of like Harry Potter and Narnia go insane at graduate school.
We've captured the spirit of the books, and we get to go places that the book goes and also new places.
I think his idea of magic at the beginning of the series is definitely different from what it is at the end.
It's an insane kind of ride, and as an actor, thrilling to do.
I believe in magic, so there's that.
Well, we start in about the same place that the books start. We start with Quentin, and he's kind of our way into the world of the magicians. It exists in the real world, a world like the world you and I live in, but a select few people have the ability to do real magic. And the show starts with our main character, Quentin, discovering that he is one of those people and that he's been accepted to a very prestigious university for magic.
You're late. Follow me.
If Quentin's not Quentin, it's not the magicians. And these people are the people that they are in the books.
Lev has been very generous. I imagine that it's very strange to be living alone in a world that you're writing for a decade and then hand it over to these strange Hollywood people. We're very fortunate that he agreed to stay involved with the show.
Set, get ready, and action!
Could you please get to the point, Quentin? I have a trustees meeting.
Why am I here?
Well, Quentin's journey and arc is interesting because it's not the typical hero's journey. I think he has abilities. He has intelligence and sensitivity, and yet has to recognize that of the group, he does not possess the greatest gifts.
It's good to be aware the world is inherently unfair. Act accordingly.
I love this kind of unlikely hero, this sort of like unlikable hero. I'm terrified I'm gonna get kicked out. Who wants to be the hero, but heroes might not actually exist in this world. I need this place. And I never had friends or parents who understand.
Look, my parents are useless, crazy people. It's really fun to get to do scenes with all the different characters and always be surprised at what we find between the two because they're all so different.
Hey, what about your light bendy thing? Yeah, we could use like a magnifying glass.
Phosphomancy, bitches!
We're all older. The grad school thing is a different time in life. You're sort of incubated by your family through high school, and then you're incubated by whatever college curriculum you enroll in, and then you graduate, and you're hit in the face with the real world.
My mentor last year was a nun. Never again.
And that's a time of life that I don't think people talk about as much as they do talk about high school and puberty and stuff like that. And I think it's really important to kind of touch on that time.
Really the core and what makes the book so exciting is watching these humans develop and grow into what they become. And so I think that that's something that's really honored.
Just have to let you in.
Your mom. And she's the only person you love in the world.
Not anymore.
Just seeing the beautiful things that are described in the book come to life in a visual way. Lev said something interesting a few days ago. He said, you can't continue to write and write and write descriptions of things. You have to move a story along. But on a television show, you just show it.
I think Lev did a terrific job of painting those worlds so that they felt different. So then we had, the obligation to kind of like make these worlds feel different.
We approached the pilot as being kind of in three worlds: Brakebills, Brooklyn, and Fillory. Each world has a very different look in terms of its color and shooting style. Brooklyn, our New York world, is very blue and cold and verite. It's largely shot handheld.
It's all dark and gray and sort of rough. And, flares can get caught in the lenses, which is gorgeous. And it's got this natural grit.
We wanted to look much more like kind of an indie Brooklyn movie.
Once you get to Brakebills, there's much more warmth. There's a lot of hard, directional, beautiful light.
We can't use handheld in Brakebills. Like, they're all like steady on dollies.
It's like going from a sort of Charlie Kaufman, Eternal Sunshine kind of look to something a little bit more Spielberg in feel. And then Fillory, we're just gonna go crazy when we get to Fillory. We talk about using points of view that are not human. So when you think about the New York look, because it's handheld, it literally is the point of view of a camera on a man or a woman's shoulders. So it is a human eye view. When we're shooting a scene in Fillory, we like to ask ourselves, who's watching the scene? And magical creatures that are far larger and tinier than our human characters exist all over this world. So that inspired some of the approach to Fillory.
Bravo! Bravo.
It's really exciting to see the tone of something that you read be captured in visual form and to recognize that quality that is very much intact.
3-year program, graduate level studies program begins immediately.
How did you find me?
Globes.
We really lucked out with our designers on this show who have a beautiful instinctual sense of the world and take every detail really seriously.
Every single piece of the set they've thought through, every single book, every title, every cup, every glass, everything represents something in the book series. And my mind is blown every time we come to work and we have a new set, and it's everything I thought it was when I read the books and more. It's such a lush landscape.
We're always playing 1,000 levels of pretend, you know, like I'm this person, I'm saying these words for the first time and that camera's not right there and these lights, you know, like, so to not have to like also imagine everything else, you just get to come and feel like you're actually in these places, and it's a gift. And it makes my job easier, and I think it makes me a better actor, and it makes all the actors better as well.
I wish every viewer of the show could visit the Physical Kids Cottage. It's unbelievable.
Welcome to the Physical Kids Cottage.
I have never been on a set that is so beautiful and so detailed. The Physical Cottage alone is probably the most beautiful room I've ever worked in.
There are plates and forks and a lamp and a chair stuck to the ceiling from past sort of misbehavior on the part of young magicians. Like, it's like a drinking game gone wrong and the plates never came down off the ceiling. There's stuff like that in every corner.
It's so gorgeous. I would love to live in that set. It tends to be where we hang out at lunchtime, all of us, because it's just beautiful. I can't believe how lucky we are.
When I first saw the Physical Kids set, I cried because it was so beautiful to me and so beyond anything that I could have imagined it to be. I know that all of us share this sentiment in the cast. It looks even better than what we imagined it to be when we read the script. So they're constantly outdoing themselves, whether it's a new location or whether it's another place that they're building in the studio.
In the lab, which is one of our sets, that's sort of like the classroom, there's a periodic table of elements on the wall that includes all of our elements and then all the magical elements. So there's stuff like that everywhere.
Nicely done.
I love using practical effects whenever possible, just because it's easier to make something look real when it's real.
When it's not entirely practical, there's a practical aspect to it. We haven't really done much of like just standing in front of a green screen looking at a tennis ball and like running from a T-Rex or something yet.
Real things have exploded.
How long are you two douchebags gonna leave me out there?
You have that to react off of, and it almost feels like you are affecting your environment, which is really cool.
I feel motivated to go to the set when I know something's gonna blow up, which is most days.
We just get to do things practically. So a lot of the spells, there's actual things flying through the air and getting to pull things across the room. And so when we get to do all of our little spells, things are actually happening, which is thrilling as an actor to get to see it. Sometimes it can be very frustrating when you're acting against a green screen, but it's all there. It's great.
Doing the Welters game, getting to like walk out onto the field and create this black hole and then have it change the environment around me. Like the wind was blowing and then like the roof gets like blown off this thing, and a lot of these things were happening practically kind of around me, and it felt like it was coming like from me. There are a lot of these moments on the show that are like no acting required because things are just happening and you just get to react to them. It was like a real superhero moment.
It makes our job as actors incredibly easy because it's real.
Whenever we can, we do. And when we can't, we have a brilliant VFX team that helps us create the magical, too amazing to create in real life version. The big mystery is who is the Beast?
Beast stuff is difficult to talk about because we don't know a lot about him, and we're kind of like piecing together what this guy's deal is and like why he's trying to screw with our lives.
I think the Beast sort of represents a lost childhood, you know, a person who couldn't recover from the horrors of his childhood.
They're all scared of the Beast. I'd be scared of the Beast. He's fantastic. He's a fantastic villain.
Hello. The Beast is this boy who was taken advantage of and abused and had no way of escaping that but through this portal to this magical world.
The popular theory in the world of the magicians is what Elliot says in episode 2.
Funny little irony they don't tell you. Magic doesn't come from talent. It comes from pain.
What that means is that some people, they have particularly terrible childhoods, or they're born with certain disadvantages, or they just experience life with a higher level of sensitivity. And out of that, what could be perceived as a hole or an incompleteness or a struggle, this capacity to channel the energy to do magic is born.
This is where I've been. I'm a magician.
Everyone in the show expects magic to fix something, and in fact, what magic does is complicate those things you think it would fix.
You can save someone's eyes. You can even save someone's life, but you might alter their soul in the process.
The way magic behaves in this reality, it's a dangerous thing, and it's not something that is simple. And it's something that requires a lot of energy and a lot of practice, like everything else in the world. And so it begins very romantic and then becomes sort of a pain in the ass, like everything else. What is the point of any of this, of magic, if we can't fix real problems?
We can fix some things. So we fix what we can.
I think pain is sort of the gateway that you have to travel through in order to become more powerful, more yourself.
As we talked about it in the writer's room, we all resonated with it instantly because that's how all of us feel about art. I think in our own separate ways, each of the writers had the experience of having pain early in their lives, and what they did was channel it into writing, which is a very beautiful thing. I was really moved by it.
You want to go back to Columbia? That pointless, miasmic march to death you call life?
The pain causes a need to protect or a need to solve. I mean, that's what pain does. It causes a need to find healing. And I think that we all sort of, as characters, inaccurately believe that magic is going to be the solution, but really the magic allows us to find the solution that really happens within us.
Do some goddamn magic! Stop it!
I think the pain brings us on a journey of seeking healing.
It's these essences, it's these themes, it's what the book is what the show is.
It's not about magic because it's about talking to each other.
I think the best fantasy and horror kind of lives in that space where the fantasy and the monsters are an opportunity for us to explore things about ourselves and about the dark side of humanity. And Lev's story, to me, is a really beautiful example of that.